Today I'm going to talk to you not about the research that I do, but about a very general idea of what defines a good researcher. So we're all good researchers. What defines us? If you say he's a good researcher, she's a good researcher. What defines good researcher? Sorry? Publication has become. It's very unanimous. You know, it's hard. There's hardly any debate when you ask this question: what defines a good researcher? Actually, it isn't. Publication is just nothing. If you think about it, papers or manuscripts or publications should be just a means of output. I do research and I'm going to write about it. It's just an output, a way of me telling the world that's what I want. And that has got nothing to do with how good I am as a researcher. How good I am as a researcher talks about curiosity. It starts with curiosity. It talks about my ability to put the right questions, my ability to eliminate negative results, my ability to logically interpret data. But none of this actually features, because publication, as much as we can say that this is just an output, but somehow it's an output of all these ideas, all these abilities that I do as a researcher. I put this in a lot. So one does see why publications have become such an important commodity or a currency when you think about evaluating a researcher. But as I said, a long time ago it wasn't, and only as recent as 350 years ago, when the Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society had to face this crisis, so to say, of how do we evaluate all these monographs and books that people write. I could write my own views, but the librarian wanted somebody else to look at it, and that's how the whole peer review system came into existence. And so the current model of publishing, for example, gave rise to quite many discoveries that we can read about. So the current system, I'm not going to complain too much about it, because this is the exact system that has made advancement in the knowledge that we have. There is largely a good correlation between the impact factor and the breakthrough discoveries. Many impactful discoveries are published in journals like Nature and Science. So many papers that are published are not bad, but there are also outliers. There are also papers that I'll explain quite a bit that don't seem to be correct. For example, papers that are attracted, they also happen to appear in Nature and Science. So to some extent, the current publishing system has helped scientific community, but there are a few problems that exist in the current system, and that's why I think, as in any innovation, one needs to address what is good in what we have, and what are the problems that we have that we can address. And there are three things that I want to illustrate today. And the first thing that I said is the scientific progress that we made, and that is undeniable. But the second thing is probably most important for people like you, is the amount of data that we have. It's the sheer volume of the data that we make from the taxpayers' money that we utilize in our research laboratories. We produce a lot of scientific data, but we almost never publish many of it. Most of the data goes it gets stored in our textbooks and notebooks and lab notebooks, and most of it gets it never gets to see the daylight of a paper format. We will talk about a lot of complicating issues as to why this happens. And the second aspect is really this irreproducibility in science. And this is an interesting an issue that we have to all discuss. Why do I do science? Why do we do science? Of course, it begins with a curiosity within ourselves. I want to know things, and then as soon as I find out and I want to publish, it also forms the body of knowledge, scientific knowledge. So I'm contributing as an author to the body of scientific knowledge, which means that information, that fact, needs to be useful. And if it needs to be useful, it needs to be replicable. It needs to be valid under different circumstances. And so irreproducibility has become a major problem because people couldn't reproduce what others have found. Today, when I say that I have designed an inhibitor of an enzyme that works in Alzheimer's disease, you want to repeat it. You have to reproduce it. And it should work in your hands, because I'm going to put that inhibitor, if it works very well, in a patient. And if it doesn't even work in a laboratory environment, if it doesn't work in other people's hands, how are we sure that it's going to work in humans? So this reproducibility aspect is extremely important, because it defines the veracity of the knowledge. And but it need not necessarily mean it's always a bad thing, because there are at least two scenarios. In one scenario, that the system that we might deal with is inherently heterogeneous and variable. So imagine that you work on HeLa cells. It's a very, very exciting cell line that a lot of people use. One lab's HeLa cells are not the same as another lab's HeLa cells, and so that could give rise to heterogeneity in terms of research output. That is something that we can understand. There is biology behind the variability that you get. So in that way, the irreproducibility in that is inevitable. But then one needs to understand what the biology behind that aspect is. And so, like human cells are also variable. And so one could think that this could give rise to certain irreproducible results. And that's why we do a lot of optimization, a lot of robust validation, for example. We do not only just one cells or one batch, we don't do only technical replicates, but we also do experimental replicates that would talk about the robustness of the finding. The second aspect is a much more disturbing one, and that is fraudulence. Many research institutes knew that these things exist, but we never talked about it. But in the recent years, the amount of studies that get retracted because there is fraudulence in these studies, because researchers do not always do the right thing. They even go to an extent of removing data, for example, or adding data that is not a part of that experiment, has contributed quite a bit to the fraudulence. To some extent, we can understand why people do cheat, and to some extent not. Scientists, as we all know, we don't get so much money. We are not like hedge fund managers, where if you lie, it's actually good for your business. This is about curiously following what the truth is. And so if we cheat, it isn't good for science. But there are people who do this. And this is concerning. This is very, very problematic.